January 11th meeting, council meeting. We have Danny, can you come to the presentation?
Our Heavenly Father, as we come to you tonight, Lord, we ask you, Lord, lead and guide that council tonight, Lord, the mayor, city manager, each one here in the audience tonight, Lord. Lord, we know there's a lot of folks sick, and Lord, we know you're able to heal their bodies, Father. Touch them. Put your arms around them. Watch over and care for them, Father. Touch those young in the hospitals in bad shape, Father. We know you're able to take care of that situation. Bless this meeting. Bless the one come now. Each member, each taxpayer, each visitors, bless them, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Mayor Lambert. Vice Mayor Sewell.
Here.
Councilmember Cagle.
Here.
Councilmember Felton. Here. Councilmember Williams.
Here.
City Manager Miller.
Here.
City Attorney.
Here. Okay, for the record tonight, I'll let everybody know that the mayor's got the flu, him and his 3 kids, so he's home kind of suffering right now, so hope he gets well real soon. Okay, we've got something that's come up that we didn't know about in our last meeting. Ms. Lee McClure, Government Affairs, and Drew Watson, Supervisor American Tennessee Water, like them to come up. They're going to give us firefighters a check for $500. Not to come up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lynn McClure.
Stan Watson, special guest.
We're doing good. Nice to see you. And just wanted to thank y'all, first of all, for letting us come. And part of what our company does is we like to be, good community stewards, and we like to give back to our community. And Amanda here applied for one of our firefighter assistant grants with Chief Williams. And so we just wanted to come tonight and present this. I'll let Drew and Amanda get in here, and the rest of y'all want to get in here with us. It is a check for $500, and it's going to be used to, I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to do that.
Which way are you going?
But this, I believe this is going to be used for safety alarms. Is that right?
Safety equipment.
Equipment for the fire department, so.
Yeah, I just see it.
I don't think we're going to
Oh, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yes, yeah, you too.
And
Yeah,
good luck to your game.
yeah, I think we're. Yeah, I'll go. Yes, sir.
We'll take a big check and send you the real one.
The one up in the closet.
That's what
It's positive, it's right.
Thank you so much.
Okay, also, I was going to check and see if there's anybody here from the Prusso family here tonight. Okay, we have the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Felton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes. Okay, we have communication from the citizens. Have Charles Dunn, 12 reads. And, yeah, be an Eastern citizen to have more business in limited 5 minutes.
Hello, Vice Mayor Council. I'd just like to talk for a minute about the item I, the Camp Jordan improvement. Looking at Mr. Miller's agenda memo, it references the project as one of the 5 priorities for the Parks Plan. And then looking at it, we have, 5-foot-high fencing, including backstops for all the softball fields. Soccer needs a new 5-foot-high fence, parking for the soccer fields, concession stands and restrooms in locations for the ball fields, all the laser grading and new stands and shade. Basically, $2 million of improvements, mostly for the youth sports facilities. Now, looking at the Parks Plan, if you go to the community involvement section, in the overview on page 54, some direct quotes are, most requests for new recreation activities focused on programming other than youth sports. Respondents would like to see events intended for East Ridge families not only in Camp Jordan Park. Many respondents want to see development of recreational facilities outside Camp Jordan Park. And the top 3 new facility requests included walking and running trails, dog park, swimming pool, or splash pad, none of which are in that proposal. It's all ball fields and youth sports. The one thing that says the community doesn't want more of it. Now, on page 66 here, one of the questions in the community survey was, there's just which of the following statements represents you, Mark Alden apply. By far the #1 answer by 16 percentage points, and actually the only one that got a majority of respondents was, I would like to see more recreational opportunities other than Camp Jordan. I would contend that at best it's bad optics. If the first project under the plan is the one project the community says it doesn't want, especially with the $2 million+ price tag, I would feel more confident the plan's being taken seriously and isn't just a checkbox for grant money if there's movement on some higher priority projects first. Furthermore, based on the survey results, I'm not sure the community as a whole supports spending that much on ball fields at all. If we have to improve Camp Jordan because of complaints from the users of the fields, I think we should at least consider doing only what's fundable with the league fee increase. I don't think it's fair for the majority of the city who never sets foot in the rec fields to give up most of the hotel tax money for the next 20 years when we could use that to keep property taxes low or for projects with wider communities.
I can respond to that if you. First off, this is one of the 3rd projects we worked on. I think it was several months ago, we came forth and got the sanction of the city council to move forward with the splash pad and an upgrade of the Pioneer Park over here. We are putting in for grants right now. Those grants are going to come due in the next several months, so we've got that project underway. We also got approval from the city council to do a multi-purpose pavilion behind here for a basketball court, a farmer's market, ice skating rink in the winter time, as well as special venues, parking, concession, and so forth back here. We're also locating at this point anywhere from 2 to 4 acres for a dog park in the central part of the city. We've been working on these things for 6 months. This is to get this one moving. Predominantly, what we're asking for Camp Jordan is a replacement of facilities that have been out there for 40 years plus. Restrooms, those restrooms out there, all of those restrooms are basically terrible. We get complaints about them all the time. So we're replacing a lot of those, putting a new roof on the arena, doing concession stand work out there. We're not adding any more new fields. What we're doing is we're revitalizing and refreshing a park which needs to be refreshed, needs to be updated. But we're also working on those other park projects at the same time. So you're going to see those two. The only one that we're having a problem with, or I should say a challenge with, is finding acres in the west part of the community where we can have another park, the location of another park. We're looking at that, working with the building department in regard to areas upon which we can acquire property and look at a park there. But we are working on the splash pad. We are working on the dog park, we are working on Pioneer Park replacement, we're working on the pavilion. Last year, we were successful in getting an intergovernmental agreement with the school board and taking over the fields down there at the high school and field, high school and the junior high school. We've got the ball field, the track, the football field. We've got $25,000 budgeted for tennis courts, resurfacing the tennis courts. We are looking at going in for a grant to double that amount of money so I can do the resurfacing of the courts as well as fencing. So we are spreading it out.
Okay, I just wanted to register some concern with
I understand.
the price tag, and I may have missed something. This was the first one I remember that has already had a definite.
We're not putting anything new out at the park. The only thing the new we're putting is the ventral gill, which is going to be a slip line. That's private. They're putting that up. That's not costing us anything.
Well, thank you, John.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that didn't sign that would like to come up and speak?
Yeah.
Would state your name and address, please.
My name is William Ingram. I'm a proud United States Navy veteran, and I've been a citizen of East Ridge for 48 years. I appreciate your time. My concern, I was wanting to find out if anything is going on with the overpass towards the interstate on the lower part of East Ridge, where they're rebuilding, removing everything. The overpass, when you go over it coming into East Ridge, it's uneven there. It looks like Mr. Williams knows what I'm talking about. There's a hump there, and it tears these cars up. And when I go over it, I mean, it just fires me up. Like you almost got to come to a stop to go over it. You know, then you got some people. I sent out a message on it and had just people. If anybody else felt the same way I did, and my phone just blew up with people. And I'm just curious, has anybody else ever noticed this, or is there any plans to take care of this? I mean, this is awful on these front end of these cars, and definitely speaking for myself, front end of these cars and tires. I mean, it's awful.
I understand, I go across it about 8 times a day myself, so I think they're going to do something with it when
That's not part of the reconfiguration project. I've registered that complaint with the TDOT over and over and over again. One thing I can basically tell you is I can give you, as many people start calling up there and registering complaints with District 2, TDOT, they will do something about it.
Who would you register the complaint to?
The district, I don't have his name, but it would be the district or region manager.
Okay.
Regional manager.
Okay.
Sir, I need your address also.
6119 Schofield Avenue. That's it. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
We have a communication from council members. Sal, anything? Mr. Williams?
Just reiterate the prayers for the mayor and his family to be well and the flu and everything, and also congratulations to Mr. Edric for his new appointment.
Ms. Mathis, did you want to speak? I'm sorry, I don't have anything.
I was gonna just, as far as 2100 McBride Road, I think what the gentleman earlier was getting at was, I know the other projects are in the works, but this is the first time that money has actually been mentioned. And so I think that's why he had those questions, because we haven't appropriated any ideas on the funding for the other projects. So I think it was just the $2 million that got him excited, because we haven't requested resources for the other projects.
I don't have anything either.
I do.
Okay.
I just want to let everyone know that there will be a groundbreaking on September 22nd. That's Monday at 10 o'clock. Out at January. What did I say? September. I don't know. No, I'm not going to postpone it anymore. January 22nd at 10 o'clock out at the Bass Pro or our new Chick-fil-A will be constructed there. They're going to start, they've already mobilized some equipment out there, they're getting ready to start. The new general manager will be there with his staff, and we're excited about them getting around and getting this thing moving. I would say probably 6 or 7 months construction time before they're open.
That's great. Forward to it. Okay, go to, old business, ordinance number 1061.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend Title VI, Law Enforcement, Chapter 3, Citations, Warrants, and Summons of the Municipal Code by adding Section 6-303, Electronic Citations.
Have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes. Okay, new business, we have a public hearing, for ordinance 1062, rezoning property located at 1403 Swanee Drive. Is anybody here for or against? Not going to say that?
Oh, I'm just here for the property.
Oh, okay. This hearing's closed. Okay, we have ordinance number 1062.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend the zoning regulations of the zoning map of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, so as to rezone the property located at 1403 Swanee Drive, tax map number 169K-E-012, from C2 General Commercial District and R1 Residential District to R1 Residential District.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes. Okay, we have ordinance number 1063.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend the East Ridge City Code, Title 14, Chapter 1, Section 14-0101, titled Creation and Membership in regard to the East Ridge Planning Commission.
Any questions? Any motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
I'm going to abstain on this due to the fact that I've got other things that I want to check out on this.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes. D, resolution 2737.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the mayor or city manager to enter into a sponsorship advertising agreement with Dick's Sporting Goods for their sponsorship of youth sports programs at Camp Jordan Park.
Now, would you like to say that? Mr. Mark, I'm sorry.
This is basically the same thing that we did 3 years ago with them. The only difference is we're doing it year to year now. And basically they give us X number of dollars in cash, and then they give us equipment, balls, soccer pennies, tees, and I go on and on and on, but it's stuff that we need and it's stuff that we use.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes. Okay, resolution number 2738.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city to accept a monetary donation from Susan and Mike Peruso in the amount of $1,000 from the East Ridge Animal Services Department.
On December 22nd, 2017, Mrs. Peruso visited the shelter. She is a native of East Ridge. She and her husband have a duck rescue. They spend some time at Camp Jordan, taking care of the ducks out there if they get injured or ill, and they will take them and get medical attention for them or whatever they need. If they require rehabilitation, they'll take them to their farm in Harrison and rehabilitate them there before they're ready to be released. She stated in her visit to the shelter that she wanted to support the shelter since she is an East Ridge girl. She donated $1,000 to East Ridge Animal Services, stating that she would like for it to go wherever it could be used best. I explained to her that typically monetary donations are deposited into a designated fund for spay-neuter for the shelter. $1,000 would allow us to spay-neuter well over 20 animals, a combination of spay-neuters. The staff at ERAS is eternally grateful to our community of supporters and beyond. We accomplish more than we could ever imagine with each person that volunteers and their time and monetary donations.
Wish they could have been here tonight.
Me as well.
I know she bring them back.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Yes.
Councilmember Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stoll?
Yes. The resolution number 2739.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the settlement agreement by and between the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, J&J Contractors, Inc., and River Street Architecture, LLC, relative to the pouring of concrete for the engine bay floor slab at Fire Station Number 2.
Ms. Scott, you have anything to say on this?
Well, I think, just so the public is aware, we did have some cracks and spider cracks out there that we were concerned with after the concrete was poured, at least the point where it was cured. They did put a sealer on it, and that sealer actually disintegrated because there was still too much moisture in the concrete. So we're looking at solving this problem. We came up with a solution that we would get involved with taking, grinding the residue from the previous sealer coating, filling all the cracks with a 2-component epoxy filler, and then application of a densifier over the whole floor. That was completed on December 18th. It worked fairly well. We, of course, wanted to get involved with the settlement agreement on this because I do have, still have some concerns, as I have some concerns in regard to the structural integrity of this concrete over a period of years. Everybody has a concrete floorboard in their house. They expect that concrete floor to last 7,500 years. I want the same thing out there at Fire Station Number 2. The building is unconditionally warranted for material quality workmanship for 1 year from December 21st, substantial completion. That was the day that we moved in and Station Number 2 became operational. This tri-party agreement that the city attorney drafted, it states that an inspection will be arranged with a date of 3.5 years beyond substantial completion date, requiring an inspection specifically on the bay floors by an architect. The architect will be the administrator of this to ascertain the satisfactory conditions of the bay floor in order that we give adequate time for the city to file a claim against J&J Contractors under Tennessee Statute TCA 28-3-202, which basically says from the date of substantial completion, the city has 4 years to make a formal complaint against them. We've got 1 year warranty, so we're going for 3.5 years beyond that. So this is what this settlement agreement does, it outlines the responsibilities that we're planning on doing by all three parties, being the city, J&J Contractors, and Brooks Architecture LLC. Anything you want to add?
One thing we added was that this agreement, or nothing in this agreement or contract in any way limits the city's right to claims under the 4-year period. We're good. Basically, we're maintaining status quo in the next couple of years. We've actually, City Manager Miller was able to negotiate a good incentive here that we get an annual or a quarterly inspection as well as an inspection 3.5 years at no additional cost. So it's maintaining the status quo, plus Mr. Miller was able to secure a few more inspections.
I should note that we should have a feeling that that floor is going to withstand construction stability within at least the next year or two. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've got one of our heaviest engines sitting in the middle bay, and that's where the cracks seem to be the most prevalent. I'm sorry?
I've got 3 engines that are enough.
Yeah, okay, you got 3 engines out there, right. And I know the one in the middle is your first responder. That probably goes out about, what, a dozen times a day? Pulling out and back in. So that concrete there is going to get its wear and tear. So we'll be able to find out whether that's going to withstand the weight. If it doesn't, we've got a decision to make. If it happens within a 1-year warranty, they have to go in there and fix it all. If it happens after that point, then we've got 4 years after that to bring claim against J&J for 3 years after that. I'm sorry, 3 years after that. 1-year warranty, 3 years after that. That's the 4 years under state statute. So the 3 years after the warranty period expires, the city will have right to claim, take to court, major cracks, shoveling of the concrete, fractures, and so forth that occur.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes. Motion to approve. Okay. Grant, consent agenda.
This is resolution number 2740, a resolution requesting the City of East Ridge to apply for the 2018 Community Development Block Grant application in regards to slums and blight removal. Resolution number 2741, a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the application for and acceptance of the American Library Association Coretta Scott King Books Grant Program.
Mr. Miller, anything you like?
Got a question.
Okay.
Okay, on this, CDBG blight removal grant,
Yes, sir.
can the money that if we get awarded that money, could that money go into the housing redevelopment board for their attorney fees and?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I've dealt with this grant on numerous occasions in my past, and I can tell you right off the bat, it can only be utilized to acquire a property in a 100-year flood zone that has a history of flooding. And what that money does is it buys the house, relocates the people, and that house comes down and never again to be built on that property again. That's what it's used for.
Correct. And the houses that we're looking at right now, since we've done almost all we can in the Wellworth, Wentworth area, we're looking at, I believe that is Swanee, East End Avenue, West End Avenue, that area right in there. And they're all vacant houses.
Motion to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes.
Thank you, council.
So H, discuss take action on city bridgeside contract for only one public safety service in the city of East Ridge.
Okay, we've talked about this several times. about the contract, continuing contract to provide police and fire services. There are two separate contracts, one for police, one for fire. And we've been in negotiations, East Ridge staff with the mayor of Ridgeside in regard to coming to a local solution someday regarding the cost of the services. They have posed the question whether or not they can have the option of hiring one service without the other. And they would like to know that at this time so we can continue our negotiations on this matter.
I'd like to recommend that we do a contract on both or none.
So, more for motion.
I thought this discussion.
Okay. It is, we can take action also.
Okay. I just like to turn it into a form of motion that we,
I mean, personally, I like to see them have both too, but, as far as payment, we could work something out on their payment. Not go up so high, I mean, I know it's just a small community.
I understand that. The cost that Ridgeside pays the city $65,887 a year for police services, $29,954 a year for fire services. These costs were derived in 2009. That was 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Just the salaries of these personnel, as well as pension costs, as well as medical costs have gone up. And we certainly would like to entertain a cost that Ridgeside would like to put on the table. That's what we're doing right now, back and forth. They've asked this question whether or not they can have one without the other.
Which one?
They are two separate contracts.
Any particular one they're wanting to keep?
I don't know. I can say that for the history of calls in the agenda packet for police alone, for fire alone, in 2017 calendar year, we responded to 21 calls.
Goes to 17.
Yes, and 13 of those calls were EMS. The other calls were power line down, dumpster fire, power line down, automatic fire alarm, citizen assist, electrical short. So for 21 calls a year, the city's generated from Ridgeside $29,954. That's over $1,000 a call. And on the police side, in 2000, we don't have a 17 yet. Correct? In 2016, our calls were 136 calls. And we also control there, it's twice a shift. So we are on 12-hour shifts, so between 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., we control minimum of 2 per shift, sometimes 3 or 4, and then respond to calls. And for that, the city generates close to $66,000 a year. So when you look at both of those together, that's $65,000, $66,000 plus $30,000, close to $100,000 that we're generating for those calls. That we are being paid goes into our general operating fund.
Well, so I hate to lose that, so.
Yeah, and I'll agree with Mr. Cagle and Mr. Sewell. I think they should be close. I think it's just more cohesive having, when there is a incident where both parties, police and fire, are there together, than it being our, both of our departments. So I will agree as well. I think it should be both.
Well, I'd say probably sometimes whenever the fire's called, police come too, right?
No, it varies.
I mean, if it's something.
Depends on the type of call. It's not every time.
Do y'all think this is taken away from the city of East Ridge by going over there? Either one of you? Just work out some kind of agreement.
My reasoning behind this is that, I lived over there and I had my choice of taking either our fire protection or our police protection. Okay, our fire protection is cheaper. But we've also got a fire rating of 2, which saves them X number of percentage on their fire insurance per household. So it saves them more on fire insurance than will be charged. So.
I see that Mayor Janet Jones out in the audience. Would you like to come up and speak?
I'll be glad to. Thank you all for your time. I'm Janet Jones, the mayor of the city of Ridgeside. And first of all, I want to say that we think they do a great job for us. And I've dealt with them. I've had to meet them on some calls personally this past year or two. And I think it's great. And also, I want to thank you for extending for 1 month this decision, because we meet next week on the 16th with our city commission. And we do want to come to an agreement with you all. We've looked at this 2 times with the 2014 and 2016 audited numbers. And 2016 are the most recent ones you have on your website. And both times, when we looked at that per person and per house, we were paying more than the citizens of East Ridge. And we're okay with that, because we understand they have to come a short distance to get to us. We're not exactly contiguous, but we're close. And we also understand that your budget is going up because you are expanding your commercial business, especially Exit 1 that way. It's great, you're building a new fire hall, but our city has remained the same. We have no commercial business. We have 158 houses, although we are getting ready to add 1 house. We are landlocked. If we add a few new citizen children, then we usually lose 1 or 2 elderly people. So not much really changes there, and we just appreciate the ability to work with you all, and we do want to work this out. I just had one commissioner who asked, could it be separated? And so that's why we're asking. Anything else? I'll be happy.
I think that right up here is kind of, wanted to try to keep them together.
I agree.
I know as far as the cost, personally, I wouldn't mind keeping it what it is, but that's up to the council. I think they can try to take the recommendations from the city manager on
Well,
this also.
Yeah, we have made a proposal to the city of Ridgeside, and I'm sure that they'll hopefully be in a position to make us a counteroffer. We'll consider any counteroffer.
Okay, yes, we will, and we have looked at it, and, you know, it is 1/3 of our budget. We are unpaid commissioners, as I think you all are, I don't know, but anyway, and so a 30% increase, which is what I got in the proposal, is too much for us. We can't afford that. So we have discussed some other, you know, options, and that's why we've been out looking at what else might be available to us. But we will come back with a proposal, a counter proposal, next week, if based on whatever you all say tonight.
Okay, and with this, they're going to have their meeting
On the
on
16th.
the 16th, still continue services until.
Our services continue until June 30th, 2018. It just says that basically any changes in the contract have to be done at least 6 months prior to the.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave them until that.
No. We would not do that.
Okay, bring us back to.
Okay.
Offer.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for your time. And thank the chiefs for their good service.
Okay, discuss and take action on proposed improvements and upgrades at Kenton Park. Martin? Hold up there, Mr. Attorney says we probably need to make a motion on this last one that, motion, we're going, make a motion that we're going with all or nothing.
Is that
So,
Make a motion to, do all for none, bring back the code of the counter offer. Yeah.
have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Councilmember Felton? Yes. Councilmember Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stoll?
Yes. Okay, Mr. Martin, go ahead.
Had to get Dylan for me to get her file, and I was looking all over the floor for a file, and it was laying right here, she wanted her whole file. Okay. Boss, you want to take off on this?
The only thing I have to say is that Camp Jordan needs to be updated. The restroom facilities are atrocious. There's some fencing in areas that need replaced. There's fencing that needs to be installed. We're not adding any new fields. I don't think that's something that we need at this time. It's going to call for a new roof, or at least some substantial improvements made to the roof system, as well as the concession stand inside and concession stands throughout the park. We've been looking at various type of scenarios ever since I've come on board here, looking at revenue streams and what could be available. We have put together, you and I have sat down and talked, and you put together a list of items that you feel are necessary. You and I have been out there walking fields, or always driving around in a fancy golf cart. Just say that. Looking at viewing what is out there, what needs are there, and doing a list together. You've obtained some prices, and I've told you from the very beginning I don't want to go for $2.5 million. That's the max, $2 to $2.5 million. If you look at the scenario that I have proposed for financing of this, the hotel motel tax, this would include the addition of the New Hampton Inn that would come on probably in late mid to late 2018. So that revenue would be projected in for 2019. Taking the disbursements we have gives us funds available at $207,000. That would fall right in between the $2 to $3 million bond issue, and for 20 years at a 2.55% interest rate, which is great to take into the bond fund. I don't want to go over the 2.5, and I think you put together a list that is very well inclusive, coming to about $2.3 million. So we're staying within that threshold of $2 to $2.5 million. You can't go over that. That's set mark I put a place on it to be safe. So why don't you go through the improvements you want to
Well, about 6
go
years,
together? I mean, this is
about 6 years ago, when I thought I was gonna have an opportunity to come over here, and it ended up being that way. I spent a lot of days driving through the park, and it was this time of year, 6 years ago. And it was dreary like it was today, and I got out and I looked at a lot of things. And I myself at that time hadn't been back to Camp Jordan since about 1982 to 84, when I was playing slow pitch softball out there. And the 4 big fields that are now the 4 big baseball fields where we play softball all the time. So at that point in time, I started making notes of what I really believed at that time needed to be done. 6 years later, everything just about still on the list that needs to be done. We started with fencing. The first thing that I had an opportunity to be involved with when I first got here was a grant, and the grant was for fencing. And Tennessee State's just not going to give you a grant for fencing. And after they turned me down, they told me that later on, that's not going to happen. But basically, we have fencing on here, and when I say fencing, I'm talking about new backstops. I'm talking about all the fencing is new, with the exception of where we have the metal fencing, which is what the big boys seem to like and use up on our big baseball fields. If you've been out there in the last 2 days, we're finishing up the 2 fields that we've got, fields 12 and fields 11, by putting the metal fences on them, and then they'll be finished. That has nothing to do with this. That was part of our budget for this year. To laser grade, safe coat, to put the dirt down, to drag, to build the mounds, to do all that stuff. That's our people do a lot of this stuff, but this stuff is what most all the good competition fields throughout the South, that's what they do to compete, because you want the best fields. Even though our restrooms may not have been good, our fencing may not have been good, and we might have had an old looking park, the one thing that we hear on a regular basis is, you've got the best playing surface of anybody. A lot of that's credited to our grounds crew people and how hard they work on that. One thing that, and if you ever played at Camp Jordan, one thing that's really bad is you have no shade. When I was in Florida last year, and I've noticed it 2 or 3 times, they have what I call shade. When I'm talking about shade, I'm talking about some kind of roof or some kind of something on top of it. And they had the ones in Florida that had 6 posts, and canopy, so to speak, but in wood and in loom siding, stuff like that. And we found those, and I took pictures of them, and I love them. And then you can put your stands underneath there, and if you come to watch a game, back when Mr. Sewell had to sit up there and watch 3 or 4 kids play in a row, then you can sit there in the shade, and it makes things a whole lot better. It makes you last a whole lot longer. If not, you go get up and you go leave and you go home. And when you get up and leave and you go home, we don't make no money off of you. We want you buying Cokes, hot dogs and stuff like that. One thing I found out a long time ago is the difference in a kid that is a rec league kid and a kid that is a select kid. His daddy buying a Coke for $1, we make the same thing off both of them. There's no difference in them. But then we've got the shade will be really great, and there'll be 2 of those per field. Most of them in Florida do 3, but I didn't think that we need to do that. And today, Kim did a good job of finally finding the people that makes those and can build those for us. And this price is for that shade. Now we've got other shade, which is just your canopy type that's made out of the nylon. As much wind as we have at Camp Jordan, that's not going to work. This other one worked, and it was actually more money than the one that Kim found us today. Our trash receptacles, when I was down at Lake Point, we just used regular trash cans that we buy at the Ace Hardware, and we throw plastic bags in them. And first time the wind blows, they flip upside down, and then the plastic bags are flying up in the air, and there's nothing attractive about it. makes it look like we're not very professional. But we can get the trash receptacles and the, receptacles? Recycle, I'll get it in a minute. Thank you. We can get those and put out there, they'll be much more attractive, and they'll be easier for us to deal with than those are. Drop-in concession stands, drop-in bathrooms, that's exactly what they are. And what we do is we'll have everything ready with the plumbing and the electric, and they'll come in and they'll just take cranes and drop them in. Somebody said to me today, he said, let me tell you something, he said, I think I could build those restrooms for that. And I said, well, how long is it going to take you to build all those restrooms? I said, well, 4 or 5 months. I said, well, these people will come in and drop these in 2 days, maybe 1 day, and we're done. And we're ready to rock and roll as far as that goes. And this is things, all these are things that it's not like we reinvented the wheel, it's other parts are using them, and we get them from places that other parts where I've seen in doing my travel. Remove all concrete bleachers. We have been storing the concrete seats ever since we started removing those out there. And we're going to probably cut them up and on our nature trail over there put some benches, and that's something that Norman's been talking about, going around for a while. We remove all the wood score stands. We'll have to do something to put back that, but most of the time anymore, you don't need score stands. Standard thing is if you're a select team, they flip a coin before the game. If you're the home team, your scorekeeper keeps the score in the book. If you're the visiting team, well, you keep the score if they've got a place to do it. And we can fix a place there where somebody can either sit over there, or like they do in most of the tournaments we play in, they just put it in their lap and they go on. It's something real easy. All those wood stands are forced for kids to play on, fall off of, get behind the umpire, make too much noise, and parents get up there and start questioning the umpire. They're not good for anything, and haven't been for years. It's not just like they started as far as that goes. Then we've got the remove concession office building, replaced with a drop-in. And what we're talking about there is you noticed out there we have a press box / concession. We don't need a press box. We don't even have a PA system. And there's no need for a press box. Somebody said, where's the umpires going to dress? Well, there'll be places for the umpires to dress. I don't have to have a $500,000-$600,000 building for umpires to dress in. We pay our umpires good. Baseball complex 9 through 12, again, fencing, backstops, putting all new backstops in. All of them is going to be 5-foot chain link green fences, which really will look good out there. Again, it talks about the laser grade infield mix. That's because the baseball complex and the big fields and the small fields are different. Again, it talks about the restrooms and all that. Soccer complex, fields 1 through 6. I'm real proud of this. We have never been able to divide soccer from the parking lots. I don't like you walking across the field, especially when you get out in 50, 60 and you walk across the field. That's not good. Especially when you first get out, it's usually wet. And then your feet get wet and muddy, and then you walk across our fields that we're trying to take care of. That'll be one thing it'll do. The other thing it'll do, it's going to keep the, what do you call it, field turf surfing? Is that what they call it up north? Used to tell me field surfing when they get out in cars and go on the.
That's one word.
Yeah, and then just, we've been lucky somebody had decided to pull out on the fields and do figure eights, donuts, have a good old time. We did catch some people last year during the snow in a 4-wheeler doing that, and we had to get out there and run them off. But we'll fence it all the way down. That will allow us to have 2 gates. You already know we've got 1 gate there. But then we're going to put another gate, and I don't know if y'all have them, you've been given to you before, but the drawing of how we're going to do things, there's going to be an asphalt drive. It'll come in right next to field 3 on soccer. And it comes right in next to that little pavilion. It'll go out. It'll come across the little creek there, and it's more of a branch is what I'd call it, that come across there and then hook back into where the asphalt is already, and they give you a circle where they can make that circle. There'll be two gates put in there. There it is. And there'll be two gates put in there. So basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna protect those fields. We're also gonna allow us to plant to take care and plant a different kind of grass on the outside of our fencing, because we don't need Bermuda grass outside of our fencing. So that's going to allow us to do both of those, and it's going to keep people from crossing and going over. And most importantly, I think, if I was a soccer person, is the fact that you will be able to charge people to come through and do away with what some of the folks have not liked about using, charging for cars. And then if you charge for cars and, you're bringing your granddaughter down there to play on the playground, and then you've had to pay to get in, well, that's not good. So that will allow them people to actually pay to go in to the soccer. So that'll help out as far as that goes as well. To the soccer stadium, we'll replace the existing sod. We will use that sod again somewhere else. That's good sod, and we'll put it somewhere else. We'll make it into a soccer football stadium. Also, you can play rugby there. You'll be able to play lacrosse there. There'll be 2 new football goals added to it. 6-foot-high chain green fencing will circle the stadium and make it an official stadium, which again will keep people off and make people where they can charge actually to get in there. It'll allow us to upgrade a concession stand that we've got over there. It's going to cost us about $10,000 to upgrade, plus a couple of pull-down windows, or roll-up windows, I guess what I'm trying to say. And they'll be allowed to use those over there for concessions, and that'll be good for us as well. The main thing this is not a luxury, folks. We're not asking for it for a luxury. We're asking for it because we need something that's a workhorse. And if we're fixing to play over here on Saturday morning, and it's going to rain like we've been told it's going to rain, it's rained 2 or 3 days, I don't want to go over and tear up our field, which is our field also over here at the high school, because it's got to make it through the high school football season. I can move every game over there, play all day. I can move soccer games there if needed to play. During the week, I can practice every football team that we've got for 2 hours or an hour and a half on that field, and can come do the same thing with soccer on that field as far as that goes. Plus, right now, we don't use that field except mainly for East Ridge High School plays there, and we don't make money on that field. It's beautiful to look at, but I need more than a front yard just to brag on how good my front yard looks. We need something that we can use on a regular basis. And if you put ESPN quality lights, and I've said this before, and you put a turf on there that's really good stuff, and that's what we'll be going after, and you fix it in, then all of a sudden East Ridge has I-75, exit 1, they have a soccer, they have a football, they have a rugby, they have a lacrosse field, and I-75, exit 1. And then I can start talking about doing some things. I can start talking about getting the girls from CFC to move out here. I hate to say this, but it's the truth. I don't like going downtown. I'd much rather be out here on this end of town, I-75 exit 1, than I am downtown, especially at night. So this would be something that I think we can market into something where we'll actually do well off of it. I also think we'll be able to market to where we can bring in, and we have to talk about it in our industry, but we've got to talk about the hotel motel tax. There's no doubt about it that new hotel is going to bring in a lot of hotel tax, and I'm standing here right now and telling you that is not going to be the last hotel we'll get out of here. We'll get another one, and it'll be nice too. Stuff like this is what's going to bring people in, and this is what's happened ever since we've been there, through the fact that the East Ridge officials and you folks and the folks before y'all have worked with us on this. The new sign package. I might have to change it up a little bit, but it's green and white. And the ones we got out down there were pretty, but, you know, they had a lot of, looked like they were from Hawaii or something. They had oranges and blues, and that's really not a park. So we're gonna go green and white throughout and make it uniform, and make it where you see that green and white, that you know you're looking at a park sign. And I think that'll help us a pretty good bit as far as that goes. Then it comes to the, this is something I'm excited about, and somebody didn't help me with this because, well, actually, city manager helped me with it, and then Bill Owens and him and Kim have done a great job throughout this whole deal. And we got to talking about, Kenny calls it faux rock. Basically, it's siding that looks like rock. And you can put it on the buildings, and we've got some old buildings out there, like the baseball building, like the concession stand that we'll have over, where the soccer stadium is, like the one up on the hill, the restroom that we're keeping up there. By the time, and the pump house and some of that stuff, by the time we fix all that up and put that on, that's gonna give us a new look. Also, we'll be doing the same thing with the pavilion, which will match to the rock on the upper side, and then we'll stay with blue roofs, just like we've got on everything out there. And last summer, we put new blue roofs on just about everything that we could. So I think that'll help us a whole lot. The arena, the roof, we've let a lot of folks look at this. Let me remind all of y'all that none of these prices are official, that we'll have to bid all these prices out. When the time comes, we just ballparked it with these people, and all these people are legit, and they give us legit prices. I'm not gonna publicize their prices, who they are. I will tell you that at least two companies with the same name from East Ridge looked at our roof. That ought to be easy to figure out. And but then it come to about $47,000, and you're putting in new screws and stuff like that. But the main thing is they're giving us a 10-year warranty. We played with the idea of going up there and putting all new metal in, and everybody we talk to says, you don't need all new metal, your metal's fine, but you need to do this. Well, when you come back and give me a 10-year warranty on something, then you're standing behind what you say you're going to do. And both the companies said that they would give us a 10-year warranty. Gas and HVAC lines need to be disconnected prior to, well, we know all that. Let's see what else we got. Fences, paving. Of course, that paving will be the paving that will be done on both the roads, one going down to the canoe launch and one going down to the zip line. And then I think there's two more on there. There's a parking lot right next to our shed, our utility shed, and then there's another parking lot on there as well that they'll be fixing too as part of that. And then the pond, and my friend called me today and she said, I didn't see that on the list. I said, yes ma'am. I said, aeration is on there, and we're going to probably put the solar windmill out there, and that'll save us some money on electricity, because everybody I've spoken to about this, like these people that live in these gated communities that have the different kinds of aerations, some of them's $5,000 a month for electricity. And one man told me, he said, we cut ours off at night and we saved ourselves $500. They had two of them, two ponds. He said, we saved ourselves $500 a month by cutting those off. With the solar, we shouldn't have a problem as far as that goes. Any questions or any way I can help you folks in any way to try to make things perfectly clear? We do have a lot going on. We have a lot going on at all of our parks. And I know he was asking about the, believe me, we are really excited about our splash pad. We are really excited about the new Pioneer Frontier. We're really excited about our new pavilion back here and a town hall atmosphere. But let me say this, there's two different animals. What we do here in a town hall atmosphere to bring all the kids to the yard, so to speak, is a different animal than what we do at Camp Jordan. Camp Jordan, through sports tourism, is not only a place for our kids in East Ridge to play, but we'll have over 1,800 kids on Saturday and Sunday out there at a wrestling match to do wrestling, kids from 4 years old up to 14 years old. And if you've never been to one of those, you know, it's like going to a hog killing. You never see so many people in your life. I mean, it's fun. So stop out there and check it out this weekend. But there's a lot of good things we've got going on.
Actually, one thing I know what you're probably doing it. I don't see it in here. You know, like when you go down the main road, you're doing that little S-turn there. Right there on the right, you've got an open ditch. It looks bad. It's just deteriorating, washing away. Y'all gonna put some kind of something in there to make it look nicer?
We can do that. I mean, it's something we need to probably.
You're gonna do all this. I mean, it's just a nice one. It's always had.
That's probably something we need to give with the street department, with Mr. Miller. Yeah, not as part of this project, but it's just an everyday deal that we would do, yes, sir. And let me say this, and I know you ride through there a lot. Mr. Cable comes out there from time to time, and she was running and walking out there. I hadn't seen her a day or two, but it's been cold. And Brian, I see out there from time to time, but let us know if you see something like that, you know, stop in there and see me. That's not giving me a directive, that's just help us out.
That I've had, I go to some soccer, but my problem is when we go to a soccer match, I don't ever know what the number of the field is. Now sometimes they have these flags stuck up there, but you can't see them on the parking lot. I didn't know if we could have something there where when you put your gates up, that this is.
We're putting a kiosk, is that how you say it, kiosk?
Yes.
We're gonna do 2 kiosks in the park, and I don't have them on here, but it'd be done out of my budget or out of this, and I think there'd be money left out of this, to where you put on there, I'm here. And we'll put one at each end of the park, and it'll list, you know, where things are and show a map of where they are. We're also gonna fix the biggest problem that we have that you're talking about. When you come in on the right side, it says fields 1 through 4. And it points to the right. It don't say baseball field, football field, it just says fields. So if you've never been to a place and you're coming to see soccer, you can turn right. So now the soccer folks, and Kenny's usually the one that does it, they come out there and put plastic bags across that sign. Well, as part of the sign upgrade that Mike Ailey and I are talking about, a lot of those signs are also going to be what I like to call common sense signs. So we won't have to deal with that. And then we'll also have those signs out in front. Now, one thing I can't cure of soccer, they'll go in there on field 1, and they'll play 3 or 4 different ones. It'll be 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D. And that makes it difficult. They're going to help with that.
You know that that's field
1, it's
one.
then you know you're either A, B, C, or D. Yes. Yeah.
One other thing, and I'll shut up, is when you're coming in the park, this is something council may have to decide on or whatever, but I think we need to do away with the stop sign and go back to the yield sign we had before. Because I was out there about a couple of weeks ago, we had something going on, there's probably 100 cars out there, every car got stopped. It'd take forever to get the traffic out of there. I could see it on the other end maybe but before we had a sign that yields for pedestrians, you're supposed to stop. And most people that's walking through there, they'll stop anyway till you won't. I mean, that's something I think the council, that's who we have to look at.
I'd like to talk to you about that. I don't think I would agree with you on that.
Let me say this.
Besides, most people mean shoot through it.
Well, they're shooting through the stop sign.
I know, but at least, I'm out there quite frequently too, but at least 50% of them will stop at that stop sign. If you put a yield sign, it's like putting a yellow light on, flash. They don't slow down, they straight through. That's driver's sense.
They are going to have, as we get to fields 9, 10, 11, 12, where it will actually be building one of our restroom / concession stands. That will also serve as field 1 through 3 in soccer. It'll be so close, especially when they're parking in the parking lot. A lot of the soccer folks will walk across the street and use that restroom as well as that concession. because the other concession's way up there. We're gonna have to do something in the road there as kids are walking across.
So you got to walk there, right
Yeah.
there.
Crosswalk there, is what
Which
you
are
do.
crosswalk, but that's,
Yeah, we'll have to do something there though, yes. You have a question?
Yes, I do. Let's go back to this chart right here,
Hey,
okay? Start with number 1. I was out there today looking for that building, it's not there.
That's new.
yeah, that's not in there
That's
yet.
the new one.
Okay, it's not
Proposed
there.
new, number one.
So then, number 2, you only gonna put a bathroom in there and not a concession stand with it?
No, sir, but there's not enough room for both. The concession's not gonna be very far, because it's gonna be right where you come through the gate. And it's gonna be a big concession stand.
Right.
I even suggested that we didn't put a, thank you so much, I need that. I even suggested that we maybe not even put a restroom in there, but I got corrected, and I understand why I was, and should have been, because you do need something close there if you're umpiring the game, if you're playing in the game. I could tell you a story about that, but I won't.
Okay, then we'll move over here to number 3, the bathroom's already there.
Yes, sir.
Can that bathroom just be remodeled instead of tore down?
No, sir.
Hold on a minute. And then move back here to the back four fields, we have nothing for, put a bathroom in the middle of those.
No, sir, because we don't have enough room. That's why we're tearing down that there. That is built so close to each other, we can't get nothing in there.
No room.
I mean, it's awful.
I mean, these four fields are closer than these four fields?
The ones that, yes, sir, it's not even
Sir.
close.
Yeah, we walked those.
Yeah. Not even close.
That's why we wanted to go with the new one for 3 to serve those two sets of 4.
And we hope to make that a little bit bigger than the one that already exists there. And the only bathrooms we ever had down there was number 5 on the hill and number 3.
Yeah, that was the very first bathroom I put in.
Yes,
Yeah,
5 was?
5 was.
Yes.
yes.
And that's the one we're gonna leave. We're leaving 5.
Yes,
We're gonna-
yes.
We're gonna put the 7.
And number 6 is over by the soccer thing, going to upgrade the concession in it.
Yes, sir. We've already started cleaning that out, and it should make a real nice concession. So it's big enough in there, and we took a lot of metal and stuff that'd been there for years out of there.
Number 7, nothing to be done.
We're just fixing it up.
It'd sure be nice to have a bathroom down on those back four fields.
I originally talked about, if you look at the back parking lot here, I originally talked about putting a restroom coming out of those 4 fields there, heading towards the parking lot, which actually would probably be somewhere, it would serve for the little kids field, and it would also serve for the batting cages there. You see what I'm talking about? We did talk about putting a restroom there. And which would be either 75,000 if you want a small one, or roughly 250 if you want a big one.
You could actually move the 3 to that location. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's just.
That would,
I was down there last year, some of those, they
Right.
call them, people where they come in, the scouts and everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the biggest complaint factor on those 4 fields. That's Paul Caldwell versus.
well, if that's the case, then why don't, when we were looking at this, 3 and 4, I remember us talking about those were pretty close together.
We talked about
But
that.
then we thought, well, we also considered the possibility of putting it on the other side closer to the parking lot. So it could be relocated there.
That's something we can look at. I wouldn't recommend it, because if you take well, you could do that, but it's gonna be a long way from fields 1 through 4
I
if
know,
you
but they
move
already have
3.
one there. They have one there.
Yes,
They have one there serving them.
yes.
And 3 is so close to, right in the middle, so the lower 4 in the
That's,
parking lot area.
that's our worst restaurant.
well,
I know.
why can't you take that and build another one over here and just remodel that?
because it's our worst restaurant.
Well, I know it is.
That's our one, that breeze there, it's gotta go.
We have to replace that grinder 2 or 3 times a year at $900, $1,000 a time,
It floods.
and our guys, I mean, I don't even go into it, you know, it's,
How about that building that's right across from that bathroom? It's got the fence and the gate up for his.
that is actually a storage building, and what we do with that, we keep some of our stuff in there, and there's an air conditioner where the guys can go during the tournament. But what we'll do with that building there is, we're actually gonna put rock on that, so it'll look good, and it'll look like everything else.
And then one other thing, Stan.
Yes, sir.
That field number 13, you know, those covers on the first page. Field number 13.
We felt like that we would have enough of our stuff left over to take care of field 13. And that honestly, that's like on our, if you'll notice, it's not listed also in our laser dragon and all that stuff either, but we felt like that there would be, well, we know there's gonna be enough stuff left over to take care of it. And that's our best field right now. You know, we built that up 2 years ago and really did some nice things to it. It's also got the metal fence around it. It's called Hardball Heaven. And we named it after, not named it after, but kind of after the little girl that passed away.
Okay, any more questions?
The fences we've got up that are now the new black fences,
That'll be reused.
we're gonna take them down and change them to the new green. We just put up the new black.
Yes, we're gonna do that, and then reuse the black fences where we need those.
Right. We're not throwing that black fence away.
Now,
No,
No.
that's not changing. It's got,
I just hate to spend this much money and have a black fence around there and everything else in the park green. Because the first time somebody drove down there, they'd say, "Stumbarton's stupid, why would you do that?" You know.
Come to house and talk about it.
Anybody else have any questions? You want to take action on this tonight?
if we can, because a lot of these are going to be, we're not putting this under a general contract. I'm not gonna pay a general contract to oversee all this. So a lot of this can be, for example, we're gonna, 2 things we need to start on. Number 1, the restrooms, and number 2 are the fencing. And so we need to get those 2 moving now.
Hopefully before we have any
And
tournaments.
then the rest of these things will fall.
And the field work, but that's no problem.
So what I'm gonna be looking at is talking to the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund and getting us, line of credit that we can utilize up to $2.5 million. That will come back to you, to the council.
Okay, do I have a motion to start the works of Canton improvement? So that come back to us with some prices.
We have to come back to you on anything that's over $10,000.
Give them the okay to go ahead and start working.
Yes.
I know the city manager said he's gonna ask for 2.5. I'd like to make a motion that we, not to exceed the 2.3. You've got 2.293, so. And I don't know whether one of these are maxed out and they're high.
I know they are high.
We feel that way too.
We can say 2.3.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because there's some fluff in there, I'm sure. Because I actually told her, remember, you're going to have to bid this thing out in a few weeks, so.
Right.
But we have a motion already on the floor. So, I have a second.
What's the motion?
Change it to 2.3.
Change it back.
That's my motion.
Right,
Not to
she'd
exceed
already
2.3.
made a
Oh.
motion, so she's just gonna change it. So you will second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton. Yes. Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes.
Thank y'all so very much.
Okay, Jay, discuss take action on American Legion using the courtroom on January the 20th, 2018 for horrible content.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Dolan.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes. Okay, or K, or last is discuss take action on court clerk salary increase. About you.
Yeah, I'll just give an update on this. This was last discussion for November 9th meeting. I've been informed by the Hamilton County Elections Commission the first day of qualifying for the court position is May 18th, and the last day is August 16th. The council is, any increase in salary is going to be contemplated, feel it should be done soon, so that anyone who is looking to run for that office at least has the opportunity to know what the salary will be when they, if they are elected to that office in November of 2018. This will not affect the individual that's in that position now. It will be, the increase in salary will go towards the person who was elected in November of 2018, and that is November 6th, the election day. General election vote.
Any discussion?
I would like to see it more in line with her salary, or whoever wins the election salary, more in line with Red Bank and Collegedale. I guess we need to decide how much.
What is theirs?
They're not elected.
They're appointed,
Report.
but it's 65 to 68 for Red Bank and Collegedale. We're the second largest city in Hamilton County. So I think we need to increase
probably
the
have-
pay.
Have benefits also.
They do, they get all their city benefits.
What was the reason that we couldn't have our own without being elected?
Because we're municipal, correct. I mean, we have,
You need to come up to the John Record, please.
Well, overall, municipalities.
it's not just municipal, we do general sessions too. We don't do criminal, we do general sessions.
They have sessions for jurisdiction.
Okay, if we wait till next meeting, would this, would be too late?
No, I'm just keeping it on the radar because I think, you know, people, as I mentioned, qualifying starts on May 18th. And people sometimes will look at, well, I think I may want to run for that position. And then they look at what kind of salary there is. And say, I'm going to work with that kind of salary because I know a lot of my time's going to be involved in that. So we lose some people that they decide they want to run for.
Mr. Litchfield, didn't you find out why we had to have our
I did.
I can't remember what you, it was,
My recollection was because there was the jurisdiction of the general session right here. And that was the basis for the requirement for an election.
yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to table this to the next meeting.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Dolan.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes. Okay, that's, all we have tonight. Meeting adjourned. Appreciate everybody for coming tonight.
You got that out.
Hey, you were gonna sit on